Hello, welcome back. Today I'm gonna test the longer, smaller diameter Fenturi combustor, which should have more wider pyrolysis zone and a little shorter oxidation and reduction zone. Because I believe the pyrolysis zone, that it's going slowly, is really important in gasification. So we have this normal grade with a reducer and the 3D grade for the open. I laid it down like this because the whole gasifier is like, oh wait, I should stop at that place. It's 1.20 meters and this pipe is going on 11.35 right there. Let's say 11.35. A little bit more. There you go. Now we can see that the underside of the grates are now met. The 3D grade is a little longer. Let's say like this. That means there is, for if you only use the 3D grade, there are 7 centimeters less height difference. But it's an open one, so it's gonna spread out way better. And fuel doesn't need to make this little angle to the center and fall through. Not sure exactly what to do. This seems a little short. I can adjust this to go way back, like until here, where those things are actually. Those little things from the bolts, spacers. I believe I start with the 3D grade and here's one and see how it works. I believe stratified without reduction is always easier for ash stones and everything. Something about it is coming up, so stay tuned. One moment, let's throw it in. Testing a Fenturi combustor. And we're 10 running hours later. I've done quite some modifications on the thing again. Cut it off, welded it to welded a stainless pipe on there, because the steel one in this picture, you see it's pretty melted. And now with the restriction in it, there's this restriction what I had here, and the normal grade, the 3D grade, will in this particular clog and melt the ash against itself, and it will just climb down and down like the previous time, and that's bad. So to be a more stable gas, because this is tar free, you know. Let's do it again. Look at this thing being hammered inside, and then we observe the flame, and we, well, I can't see any. If there's any, yeah, there's just a slight amount, micro style. But then in a few seconds now it adjusts itself, because I cut it shorter. That means the pyrolysis zone is moving upwards, and the reduction zone is getting larger. And that's what we want. We want the optimal way of reducing, of pyrolysis, oxidation, and reduction. And in this way, I hammered it, refueling it and stuff a few times now, and the worst case was when I didn't tap it at all for an hour, 1.5 hours even. The gas was still perfect, and then I refueled it and hammered it quite a bit, and then the thing turned, yeah, like low tarish, yellowish, and then within a minute it was back to tar free again. So I believe this gasifier needs a continuous vibration or a very intermediate, very low interval vibrational thing, because this bridging problem is still present even though the burner is quite a bit smaller now. The ignition with the restriction in it goes a lot faster from the bottom, and then you wait till the gas gets flammable on this underneath, then you put it in updraft and it's already flammable right away whenever it's coming out of the top. Then you start it in invert mode for a few seconds, then quite big flames coming out with some tar, and then after a minute you can switch over to the Fenturi combustor, and then it takes over and it will run unacceptably, let's say for about 15 minutes from startup to the moment I dare to drive an engine on this thing. So the startup procedure is still a bit long, but this gas is just amazing from this Fenturi combustor. I mean, words can't express how happy I am with such a finding, with all these problems with dual air nozzles or exhaust, and oh boy, what a stuff. And now we just have a hybrid up and down draft gasifier with one little modification. We only have to deal with the flow problems now. That's the biggest deal. You can have very clean gas for almost no extra work. This is raw gas and it's perfectly clean, I believe. I mean, let's look at the stuff from here. It's not even, there's just a minuscule fog in there. That means there's a lot of water being transformed into gas, you know, hydrogen gas or whatever. At least into gas. Look at this. It's nothing. Tonight I will make another one, make it a short with this particular setup, because this is just amazing stuff. Because in the night you can really see how clean everything is. Now you can just see some, well, now you see nothing, but normally you see a little bit of yellowish or some fog, and there's nothing like it. It works really well. And the scent filter can handle all this minuscule fluctuations I've seen now. So in the end the reduction zone is about 250 millimeters now, because it has about 120 millimeters of restriction. Inside diameter of the restriction is 65 millimeters, and the inside diameter of the pipe is 110, and then 170 millimeters higher is the beginning of the combustion recirculator, or the Fenturi combustor, and that one is now about 200 millimeters high instead of 300, and that makes an awful lot of difference in the temperatures established in it. And in continuity, the restrictor does its job really good. It holds the temperature up for a lot longer, so the disruptions are not as bad. So I highly recommend putting a restriction on any gasifier, even if it's stratified. It makes everything just a lot better. Now the next problem is that we need a grate that can move, because ash rocks will be formed at some point. I have some in here. This is a beautiful one. You can see how this is formed just underneath the. This was one big giant ash rock, by the way. It was it was inside the restrictor and it was building up. But you can see really well how this forms. So the char in this waste of the charcoal waste of this gasifier is like minuscule. So it has a conversion of like 99% instead of the 90% or whatever. Inverts are actually charcoal makers, in my opinion. They make a lot of charcoal and they don't reuse it. This one is making ash rocks and clean gas. So we need to have this moving grate, the crushing grate, for this type of gasifier if we want to have a continuous running time, because the ash will compact into one big giant sponge kind of structure and it will be there. Instead, if we have some rollers counter rotating, it will be eaten, you know, by like a stone crusher or whatever. This gas is phenomenally clean. I love it. Let's hammer it again. We also need to keep attention to the flow rate, because you can see it's about 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeters. And that corresponds to about 10 to 12 cubic meters an hour. And for this diameter pipe, this is about what you can get in this cleanness. I can, however, increase it now a little bit, but that will only destabilize the whole process again. You can see that there's no increase in tar. There is, however, this oscillation, which I believe is due to the condensation forming now. So I'm gonna check that out. One moment. Funny. The pipe was clogged with water, so you hear the gluk 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 oscillating things. Funny. This one was also with some tar in it and lots of moisture, but a few drops of tar because of all this experimentation lately. This is what this thing catched in the 50 hours of runtime, so it's negligible, almost nothing. I'm gonna see if there's how much liquid is in there. Pipe. Does it float inside here? Oh, that was quite some. That's being captured in the pipe here. Alright, well, that's just this stuff too. It's clear, man. My hands are getting cleaner from it. And it smells only a little bit like smoke. The condensate now is really clean. Like the gas, it's crazy stuff. Let's try to poke it a bit, just for fun, you know. You want to see what it does whenever you this one raw, make it flow inside. Oh geez, look at a lot of steam is coming out, so that means tar is gonna be produced. That's a sure thing now. But now the question is, how long is the tar maintained? Because now we violently disrupted the bed. Within 3, 2, 1, there you go. There's some tar. Now we count. So there's quite some of it. I molested it pretty bad. Now we see how long it takes. Last time it was less than a minute, sometimes only a few seconds, even when you disrupt it. This we'll see now how much. 30 seconds now. Yeah, it's getting cleaner, but it's taking a minute again, I guess. This was pretty bad. This gas flow rate is a little above 12 meters, by the way, so but it's adjusting itself pretty good. 1 minute now. Yeah, if we run this through a sand filter, it's already perfect. It's already really good gas. We can see the vapors are. There's an increased amount of vapor, that's right. That will be taken care of by the sand filter. This is an awesome thing. I wonder why I didn't try this before. Sand has this micro impact porous internal structure, and it will just make all the small droplets, or at least 95% of them, into a bigger droplet, so it will fall out of suspension. No liquid is flowing out of there, so it must be absorbed in the structure to capillary stuff. So let's see the moisture now. That's quite a bit. Fog. Then wait for what? There is no fog here. There you go. Oh my. Clean as ever. Oh, it's going like this. Oh. No fog, no tar, nothing. This thing really works. Now we do it again. Disrupt the structure again. Not as violently in them poking it, but no changes. Just perfect gas. Flow rate is about 1 centimeter. Yeah, about 1. This thing should have like 3 or 3.5 centimeters. 3.2 centimeters of pressure drop for that's around 10 cubic meters an hour. Perfect gas. Be right back. This is the raw gas with the fog in it. We're connecting it now, and we will see a flame appear there. There you go. It's really clean. It contains 1 or 2% yellowish stuff. And we turn the electrostatic precipitator off. I put the sand filter in there and see what that does. A little tiny amount of haze is coming through. It's nothing in comparison. The conductor 2, even better flame appears. Wow. And then the electrostatic precipitator, doesn't add anything actually. So Highly successful stuff.